Welcome back to Until They Sleep. This is Chantel.
And I'm Daniel.
And we are on episode 47.
47.
And we're going to just jump into the Would You Rather from our kids for this week.
Oh, wow.
And get that out of the way.
Okay, first of all, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Appreciate your love and support, as always. Thank you for joining us. Episode 47. Mm-hmm. And, okay, well, the wifey is straight to business today, so let's get to it.
Would you rather? Let's just get to it. The kids' Would You Rather for this week is, I did post this on Instagram and on Facebook. So the question from our 11-year-old is, would you rather have the power to control man-made things or to control the elements? Here's the details. If you're controlling man-made things, you could fix your own car without having to touch it. You could, cut a piece of paper in the air. You could change the TV channels without a remote. Kind of like, I guess, telepathy.
Right.
That's maybe something like how I'm starting to think about it. The only problem is that everybody would know that you have this power and everybody would want it. And it could possibly force you into a life of isolation.
But, okay.
Versus the elements one, you could control all the elements. He said, like poison ivy, or, I said, like a Captain Planet. He didn't know who Captain Planet was, but yeah, basically like a Captain Planet. Or he said Avatar. He says you could be like an avatar.
Okay.
And
Avatar, the cartoon.
The cartoon, yes.
Yeah,
And but the gist on this one is that every time you use your powers, one of your body parts turns into that element that you used. But it wears off. You have to deal, the example he gave me was, your arm turns into a rock.
So, if you use that arm to use the rock, will it turn?
No, he is a random body part. You don't know which body part it's going to be. Just a random body part turns into that element for a couple weeks.
Oh,
it does wear off. Yeah, it will wear off, and it doesn't hurt you, and it doesn't kill you in any way. It's just like a huge inconvenience.
I imagine if you let's say you use some rocks, right, earth, and then I guess your arms or your legs turn into a rock. What was that? I mean, I imagine if you still ever use it, and it wouldn't. The only side effect is that for everybody else, it looks like a rock arm. But for you, it's still your arm, right? It's not going to be heavy. It's not going to pin you down to the ground or something.
No, he made it seem like your arm's useless. Like if it was your arm would be useless for a couple of weeks.
Okay.
So you're either dealing with the inconvenience.
That ruins it right there. Why would you pick that one? That was out the window. I was being dirty. I was like, oh, my wiener. That's it. I'm going to get into a rock. I'm just going to be... But if it's randomly
it's random. You do not pick which body part changes. I mean, can you imagine? Most men would probably pick that one.
Yeah, definitely. Steel. Elements will be wind, air. Air.
But
water,
also like a poison ivy,
earth.
So you can control plants.
Will that be part of Earth?
The
Earth,
Avatar.
Right?
If you think of an Avatar, the Avatar, he doesn't control plants. He controls water, air, fire, and earth.
I think they do control plants.
So, but our son was saying that you also have poison ivy because it's part of nature. You basically control nature.
Okay, but then on the other one, you're
controlling man-made things.
So but you're saying that people would know about it.
Yes, and would want that power from you.
You can't give that power away. It's your power, so so you can't really give it away. But I can see where people will be like, "Hey, can you fix my car?" Or, "Hey, can you change the channel for me?" I was like, "Oh, hey, can you?"
Or if you have a government found out about you. You'd be a total experiment.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
Or they'd be trying to use you like a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So
not like a weapon, but they'll try to use your genetic code to make weapons.
Yeah, exactly. So, you're either dealing with that type of drama or you're just kind of
But it doesn't matter. I'll take that one. I'll take that one because
man-made things?
because there's no way the government's going to be able to get me. Because if I
Okay.
control everything, they're coming to get me. I'm like, your cars are just became
But what if you're asleep?
useless.
What if they come at you in your sleep?
Well, if I can control everything that's man-made, I think I can pull like a magneto and just like build me a dome to protect me.
Okay. Okay. I see
know what
where
I
you're
mean?
going with that. Okay.
I mean, then, yeah, I'll pretty much become Magneto. Bottom line is that.
He would become Magneto. You know, he did actually say he did use Magneto as a reference or Doctor Doom.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I asked him,
Build
what do
me
you
like a
look like?
helmet, and I'll wear me like a special suit so that they can't like shoot me to try to put me to sleep.
Yeah, because I asked him, I said,
I can make it
do
myself.
you
like,
look
yeah,
like
so
a certain way or
I
something?
guess that would be if I knew I had that power, I would go with that power. But if I knew I had that power, I would try to keep it from everyone.
But you can't. Like, everyone knows you have this power. Like,
How would
they just
know?
know.
It's just my birth certificate that says that
I
I'm a
guess.
mutant.
I don't know. It's just, everyone knows you have this power.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
It just goes to show that the people you trust are going to have a big mouth and they're going to tell somebody, and that's why everybody knows.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I'll still take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I would
because
take
if
the
I'm an elemental and I can only use certain things for a while, but let's say my legs are going to turn to water because I decided to control water for a fire and I wanted to put out a fire, then I'm water. I'm a little what is it a little spot of water there for weeks.
It's not. No, it's not like that. It's you still retain the shape.
Oh,
Like
but
your
it's water.
arm still
Okay.
looks like water. Your arm still looks
So
like an arm, but it's
people
water.
will still know that I have that power too. So regardless, people are going to know that I have a power.
I guess, but it's the difference of people wanting it. I guess I don't know. He just said that the other one, everyone would want your power. I'm sure if other people
Well, if
saw
you're an
that
elemental, everybody's going to want your power too.
that's true, I guess. But I mean, if they saw that inconvenience of, oh, your arms are rock, well, that sucks. I think that would be a deterrent.
Right.
I would want the elemental power.
Yeah. No, I'll take the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the easy one.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad I asked him for more details.
Yeah,
So
that was easy.
that was it. And then I did put that post out on, like I said, the Instagram and Facebook. And I didn't put it out soon enough. I think it was too short notice. Or maybe it's the way I put it on a reel instead of on a story. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm still learning how to do these things. And I didn't feel like the reel was a friendly.
Well, the
version for
reel
polls.
more than just the followers can see it when it's a reel is out there. So it might still just
Well, because I added like the option to answer a question to it. So I don't know if people didn't understand that they could actually select.
No, they know. I mean,
They know?
they're on social media
Okay.
enough. They see a yes and a no. They know they click
Because
one's gonna make it.
I've seen where it says yes or no, but it's just a picture.
Yeah, but it's a repost from somebody else.
Oh well, yeah, this isn't a repost. So
No,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, no.
So, but
it's
in
all
a
right.
story, I guess I'll just stick to stories then,
yeah.
because in
Yeah.
the reel, it didn't seem to work.
I don't like reels. I don't like reels. I a while back I did a reel, not knowing that it was a reel of our son playing the piano at your brother's. And he was playing, I believe, November Rain. And I shared it. And then I started getting comments from like people that I didn't even know in it. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? And I opened it and I was like, okay. And there's people like, oh yeah, he's doing good. Tell him to use this hand, to use his bass hand or whatever. It's like, oh no, that was his warm up thing. And then I was like, wait, I don't know this person. And then, other people was like, oh yeah, great technique, but this note was wrong. And I take it he's still learning and he's probably like played
never
different
told me
notes.
about
Yeah,
this.
it was a while back. And
Oh.
I was like, I want to say over a year ago.
Oh yeah,
And
I was like, that's a long time ago.
And I was like, all right. And then I realized that it was not that long ago, like a few months ago, I got a thing saying, oh, somebody replied to your reel. And I was like, well, my reel?
Oh,
And when
well, I used a reel because I had details for this question, so that was the only reason I did it as a reel. But again, I guess that's just not the right format for taking a poll.
yeah, old people like us trying to use,
I know.
the young
I can't
people
use
stuff.
technology.
Yeah, we're turning into our parents now. So yeah, it's just no. Okay, well, you got
Well,
another one?
nope, that was the would you rather for the week, and I will
Just one?
post. Yeah, that was it. I will.
Damn.
We did
I'll make
get
excuses for people too, though.
response for the
Movies,
movies.
and the popular one
The
was
most popular one was National Lampoon's
yeah, that's a
Christmas.
great one too.
That was the one.
That is another good one.
So we did hear back from followers.
I do have a couple of friends that love that movie.
Yeah. So
Or people I know that love that movie.
that wasn't on our list. So
Chief loves that movie too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Chief loves any National Lampoon's movie.
As far as everything else, the topic I wanted to talk about was based on our 11-year-old had a project this week that was due concerning seasonal holidays, and he asked his teacher if he could do Yule, and his teacher didn't know what Yule was, which I was surprised.
I'm sorry. So it was a class project.
He had in geography.
Geography, and then the assignment was to what? I'm sorry.
They had to do like a slideshow assignment, presentation
Right.
about seasonal holidays. I thought this would be more for like history class, but it's actually his geography class.
Well,
for
it
some
kind of makes
reason.
sense too with geography. I mean,
Yeah.
people in different areas of the world might do something different for the holidays or celebrations.
Well,
I mean,
know.
it's not just this holiday, right?
Yeah. No. It's the seasonal, like this whole winter.
Oh, this whole season.
Like there's so
Winter
many other holidays.
How the hell are
during
you
this
going to give
time.
that assignment and not know about what Yule is?
Well, she had a list of options, and then our son asked if he could do Yule because Yule wasn't on the list. And so she didn't have Yule on her list of options because she said she'd never heard of it. And I was kind of in shock because I thought it was just something people knew about. But I guess if she didn't know about it and she's a teacher, I mean, I guess a lot of people don't know about Yule.
Maybe it's a
and
young
I
teacher.
wanted to talk about Yule.
Okay. Well, that inspired you to talk about Yule
Yes.
today. Okay. Well, and it is a holiday season, and it is a winter, and it is a celebration, and it's a common thing in our household to celebrate Yule. Thank you guys for doing that for me. And as part of our family. So I'm glad to hear that our son wanted to, bring that up.
Yeah. And he
just so
has
they
to
can
do,
understand.
he was supposed to do a presentation on it, but I guess they didn't get to this week. And they're supposed to do them this week.
Yeah, but it's funny, right? Because even on a couple of Christmas carols, they talk about Yule.
Yes. He covered that in his presentation as well. But it was funny because he did tell me that a couple of his friends who did know what Yule was, were calling him out on the fact that he was technically doing Christmas. They're like, yeah, that's not fair because it's the same thing as Christmas. And he's like, no, they're different. Like he tried to let them know it's different, but that's, the consensus is that they're the same.
And that's the point for the project, right?
And that was the point of the project.
That's the point of the project. He'll do his slideshows. He'll talk about it. How many slideshows is that a limit, or is
5?
it?
But I mean, it was literally 3 informational slides, and the rest was just like a title page and a bibliography type of thing. So
it's just like a little quick.
It's super
little
quick.
crash course thing.
Yeah, a quick crash course into what the holiday's about. He had to list like some facts about the holiday, the history of the holiday, and the traditions.
Okay, and so I take it you want to cover that stuff
Yeah, I'm
a little
gonna-
more in depth in that, or what's going on?
Not too in depth. We're going to just kind of, because it's a very long conversation that could be had.
Oh no,
because,
yeah, for sure.
Gosh, there's hundreds of web pages out there and YouTube videos and
Different similarities, right?
Yeah.
Between what region you're from, or
yes. So we're just gonna skim over it for those who may not know about Yule, or Joel or Jule, depending on where you're from. And this is a holiday that we celebrate in our household. Not to say that we don't celebrate Christmas, but they have become one and the same in the Western culture, right? So, and I'll go into the history of what happened. So, it is a pre-Christian Germanic tradition. And when I say Germanic, I don't mean only Germany. ninth century and 8th century and way before Christianity, took over all of Europe, there were all these tribes, and the majority of Europe was considered Germanic. So the Germanic tribes of that region celebrated some version of what we now call Yule. And by our current calendar standards, most people who celebrate Yule celebrate this from December 20th or 21st all the way through New Year. But there are regions of the world that actually start celebrating this tradition in November, and others that celebrate it only for 3 days around the winter solstice, which is the beginning of the 12-day celebration is on the winter solstice. And the reason it's done on the winter solstice is because it is the day that marks the shortest day and the longest night. And every day after that day, after the winter solstice, there's a little more light every single day. So we call it Yule, so I'm going to call it Yule. But Yule was basically a celebration where they would gather together, families and communities and tribes would gather together. They would decorate the pine trees and the forests with food and gifts in hopes that the spring spirits would return. And because they were a sign of everlasting life, right? These evergreens, these trees that just didn't die in the cold, dark winters, right? So with that, they also would decorate their homes in candlelight, and they would bring in some of these evergreens into their homes, and even the holly berries. There were this beautiful red berry that would be alive in the winter, right? So they would bring all these things into their homes as symbols of life in the dark, cold winters, and they would light up their homes. And we also now know that the scent of pine is antiseptic, so that would also help to keep the air fresh in their homes, with the scent of pine. These were some of the things that they would do in their tradition, along with, the merrymaking, the feasting, the drinking. They would also sacrifice animals in prayer, that the sun would return and that the spring would come again. And these were their traditions for centuries. And then depending on what website you're reading and what historical document you're looking at, anywhere between the 8th and 11th century, I found one site that said in the year 846, I believe, or 826, when the Danish king Harald Klak, or Harold Bluetooth, he was the first Dane king to become a Christian. But historically, if you go delve more into the history of it, he didn't do it out of a true belief for Christianity. He did it because the Frankish king, which were the French, or what are now the French. It was the Frankish king Louis the Pious, who ruled from 814 to 840. It was one of his conditions for protecting the Danish king. So it was, I will protect you, and I'll help you, and I'll give you your lands back or whatever if you convert to Christianity. So he did it more because he had to. He wanted to survive. Yeah, it was a business transaction is what it was. It wasn't because he truly believed. But with that eventually came the Christianization of these Germanic tribal traditions, where the missionaries, the popes, the kings or whatever, they adopted these traditions because they wanted to convince the people in one way or another that these traditions were symbols of God. Like the tree with its 3 points were a symbol of the Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son.
No, yeah. I'm sorry, I got a little lost. So did you cover how long Yule is?
Yes. It just depends on where you are. So we celebrate it from the winter solstice to the first of the year.
Yeah, 12 days.
Yeah, that's what we celebrate it, but there's other places that start celebrating in November. And then there's other areas that celebrate it just for the 3 days around the winter solstice. So even the whole idea of the celebration of the 12 nights of Christmas is a pre-Christian tradition, because, again, for those that follow the 12-day rituals, each night was meant to celebrate one of the Norse gods, starting with Winter Solstice Eve, where you would honor your ancestors, especially ancestral women in your family. And it was a tradition for a family recipe to be that's handed down from generation to generation, for that to be cooked on that evening. And then every night thereafter represented one of the Norse gods and their teachings. So we know we sing about the 12 nights of Christmas, and then there's also all these other holidays that are celebrated in 12-day increments. And originally, these were all pre-Christian celebrations or traditions that were absorbed or adopted by other religions. I won't go into the details of what every night is because it's a lot of information, but
So yeah,
and you're usually working
right in the
so-
beginning of Yule, it really sucks. I always want to take it off for religious purposes, but I know that I'm not going to get it off.
You're not
They,
gonna
they
get
have
it
an
off.
issue with it. They'll probably think I'm joking or whatever. But one of the things that we do like to do, that you started doing with the kids, usually just when we start, and you're talking about that. I liked it like last year when you were doing the orange slices.
Mm-hmm.
And like the peppers and the acorns and all these natural fragrances that like you were drying out the fruit, and we were adding it to our Christmas tree, and some of them were being added to our Yule log. Mm-hmm. And our Yule log, so pretty much for us, the Yule log is well, for me in our house, we like to burn a log every night for the 12 days. And it's kind of like it's a belief for encouraging the sun to move and making the days longer, right? Because these are the days where
it's meant to be like a prayer,
right?
Like in the
but
year.
no, but it's also for that. It's
symbolizes,
part of the belief, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was looking it up, and it's one of those beliefs that they believe that was originated from the Germanic and the Scandinavian tribes.
Well, because they would bring in trees to their homes to burn, right? Throughout
well,
the
a
winter.
tree. It was a tree that was cut into 12 pieces. Well, this is the Celt way. The Celts did it, and then they bring a tree.
Again,
and
yeah,
cut it
the
into
different
12
Germanic
pieces,
tribes,
right?
yes.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they will burn a piece of that tree as a part of the feasting.
And within that is also the belief that this would also keep the evil spirits away.
Yes. So, so there's a lot of things that got adopted from Yule, as you were saying. Christianization came about that made people, convert a little bit easier, which like the feasting, like the gift giving, the caroling, hanging ornaments from the trees. Decorating with a lot of greenery, right? Because everything's dead during the winter, so you're trying to lighting up the night with fire.
Yeah. I actually read that bringing trees into your home wasn't actually adopted till like the 19th century.
19th century, that's kind of late.
19th century, yeah, was when it became a common tradition throughout most households.
Yeah, other things that are done is like walking in the woods at night, kissing under the mistletoe.
Yeah, those are all
exchanging, like I said, exchanging gifts with your loved ones.
Germanic traditions.
Yeah. Well, it is a festival. It's kind of like Hanukkah, right?
And then
Hanukkah is
Kwanzaa,
right? So it's all kind of hand in hand with the winter and praying for new beginnings and the celebrations of it, right? But later on, it became something else.
Yeah.
Well, but just so you guys know, Yule is one of the oldest winter celebrations in the world.
One of the ideas was that during the wild hunt, and
yes,
the rest
and
of his
so
group.
and there's another tradition, right? The Yule ham. There's a part of the reason why during this time people have ham. It was before the wild hunt. It was boar, and it was a ham.
Yep.
So if you have ham, I guess you're being a heathen.
You're
being a pagan.
Celebrating a pre-Christian tradition.
You're being part of Yule. You haven't ham. You're part of Yule. You have a Christmas tree. As
you're
you call it now,
pre-Christian.
You're doing Yule. You're having a bonfire.
Wreaths on your doors, mistletoe,
gift to loved ones,
holly,
kissing under the mistletoe.
All of that.
Yeah,
it's all pre-Christian traditions. And again, we've adopted this, because we live in a predominantly Christian society, and so we do also celebrate Christmas Day, correct? But we just do not celebrate it for the same reason that others celebrate it.
We do it different. We do it a little different. So we understand that we're surrounded by a lot of family members,
And
loved
we were
ones,
raised
and friends,
with Christian
right?
beliefs.
That do that, right? And well, for me, it was different. So everybody usually Christmas Day they get together and they have their open gifts and whatever not. Me and with my Catholic mother, everybody and me and Mexican, we all start on the 24th and it goes on till the 25th. I was making a joke with the kids today. We were watching some Santa Claus. The Santa Claus is a TV show and it covers about how kids are supposed to go to sleep on Christmas Eve so that they can wake up to Christmas Day and receive their gifts. So if you're Mexican, this is why you never got Santa Claus gifts, because you didn't go to sleep on Christmas Eve. You stayed up till midnight to open other gifts. And therefore, Santa Claus was like, you voided my gift this year. So there you go. That was the joke I had with my kids. So hopefully they'll fall asleep early.
Well, I too, I mean, I was not raised Catholic, but my grandmother was Catholic.
Right.
And I remember
Go to
every
Mass.
Christmas Eve, we would be at her house. We'd have to go to midnight mass with her, and we'd come home, open one present, and then go to sleep, and then wake up to more presents.
Yeah, but see, you already broke the rule. You were
I
up
know.
past midnight.
We're up past midnight. But it's true. But we would get home and our Santa gifts would be at home because this was at grandma's house. So we'd be
Right.
at grandma's house. Our Santa gifts would not be at grandma's house. Our Santa gifts would be at home waiting for us. But this is how
Well, there was a
this
loophole,
is how
though.
we did
Because you
it.
guys were Mormons, that's why.
It has
So-
nothing to do with
Yeah,
us
no,
being
see,
Mormon.
Catholics don't get it.
Oh, because
So-
Catholics don't.
So then, no. So yeah, but there's another one that we're leaving off. So for you, there's a lot of little things, symbolism.
There's
stuff that
so
we use.
much, so much.
So I know some of you guys might know about the Yule log. Some of them might know about the Yule goat.
Well, now the Yule log's just a cake.
So it's funny. I kind of looked up the Yule log real quick, and what I found out is that it's now a part of a Christmas tradition, right? That it involves like creating. Okay, so hold on, let me see real quick. It was something about the tradition dates back to the 1600s when families will burn a real log on Christmas Eve to symbolize New Year and good luck. But in the 19th century, French bakers popularized the tradition by giving it a common name of bûcher de Noël, which is just they started making it into a bread. So then that was the birth of it. This cake is a light and fluffy sponge cake that resembles a log, and it's made by rolling a chocolate cake, filling it with whipped cream, coating it in chocolate frosting, and yeah. So it's mainly served in France,
We don't-
Belgium, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Vietnam, Quebec, and Canada.
We don't do this though.
No, I
We
hate that
just
Yule log.
Actually, burn a real log.
Yeah, we burn a real log. Usually, my wife hates it at times because of the smell of burnt stuff inside the house.
I think it's just our vent.
yeah. But I also do it outside at times. When I'm here, I like to go outside with the boys, and there's another beautiful tradition that my wife does for me that I really appreciate that she does. I love it. She makes us some glug, and I usually used to stand outside with the log outside and have me some glug, and she joins
Glug.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
learned
hope
to
you make some
that.
this year.
I need a lot of alcohol to make
It
this glug.
really warms up your blood system and
Yeah.
it makes you happy. So
I think I bottled it one year for us. And
yeah, you gave it away.
and,
You
yeah.
gave some people some
A
of it.
couple of bottles, yeah.
and it was delicious. There was like there's been like 2 batches that were like
You let it sit and ferment a little longer.
Yeah.
It makes it even better. So there's many characters that play into the Yule tradition. You've got your Yule cat who
oh yeah, the Yule cat.
who comes and eats children who don't receive clothing.
I
So
forgot about that guy.
this Yule cat, yeah. And some of you might be familiar with some of these characters if you've watched the Christmas Chronicles. Because a lot of these characters are covered in Christmas Chronicles.
That Yule cat was like a
Yule
snow
cat-
leopard. Right?
Yeah, he was like
I
this
forgot
giant.
about that.
Yeah. The Yule cat is supposed to get you if you don't get any clothes. And of course, this tradition was brought on to encourage children to be happy to receive clothing. So our children are now happy to receive clothing.
Yeah.
You, of course, got Krampus, and he is an age-old tradition as well. Some people used to think he worked hand in hand with Santa.
Yeah, Santa.
That he would be, it's a good cop, bad cop type of thing. So Santa's the good cop and Krampus is the bad cop, and he's the one punishing the children and whipping them if they don't behave. And of course, there's many regions of the world that have these huge Krampus celebrations, and our kids are actually always asking us if they can go to one. So I think Washington is the nearest state that actually celebrates.
I'm take them to that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be awesome.
Let's see, you've got
the Yule goat, which is something I've been kind of wanting to bring up. We were going over the Yule log. You bring up Krampus. So if you have Krampus and another aspect in some cultures, it's the Yule goat will bring you gifts. It's another person that will bring you gifts to the good children, and what about the people that are not good? And that's when Krampus will come in and take care of the not so good and the naughty kids. So the Yule goat it changes on belief and region. Some people believe that it was part of Thor's goats that helped them travel. And then there's a story about, if you know about Thor, that, when he found a less fortunate family and he killed his goats to feed them and brought them back the next day. And parts of Sweden, Scandinavia. I think in Sweden they have like this really huge goat that's been going on for like 60 something years. And some drunk guys in town always end up burning it. So there are people that burn the Yule goats, some people that don't. There's also like practical jokes that people do where whoever has the Yule goat, they go and they put it in people's houses as a prank. So like you got the goat now, so they have to prank others. There's people that put them in their house as a welcoming to their house to celebrations. The Yule goat's supposed to represent also like people that come when he shows up to your house to make sure that your decorations are up to par for Yule. If not, he's going to eat everything or destroy everything. You might see him at IKEA, everyone. I know they're usually made out of straw or like some type of wheat to make the beard and stuff, and they're bound with red ribbons. They're decorated on trees, so it's used for a lot of things. So the Yule goat is an important factor also for Yule.
And this Yule goat would have been called also, or I think it still is called, I don't recall right now, Jolpuki or Yolpuki, which basically means Yule goat, which is the word for Santa Claus in modern times in other regions of the world. Another tradition that we have is we've got Elf on the Shelf these days, and this whole idea of Elf on the Shelf is actually linked to the mischievous Tomt spirits, or Tomte, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but basically a Tomt or a niece, they were gnomes that lived in your home, and it was believed that these gnomes helped you run your household, as long as you respected them and you were good and you did your work, you pulled your weight around the house, basically,
right,
that they would do anything for you. I guess kind of like a Dobie.
Wasn't that also kind of covered on that Eurovision, like when that lady keeps on talking to the
yes, the ones in the
they keep on killing the bad people or whatever.
Yeah.
Or helping them out.
And that was the other side of it. So the niece or the Tomt, they would be good helpers in your home and protect your livestock and help clean your house and all these different things. But if you were bad, if you were disrespectful to them, if you were disrespectful to your animals, if you didn't pull your weight around the house, they would do mischievous things in your home. They would break things, they would turn things upside down. And that is a tradition that people have started doing again with these whole Elf on a Shelf thing. So the elf is starting to do all these mischievous things around the house, And in our house, we don't do Elf on a Shelf. I actually made gnomes.
Right.
And our gnomes come out on the winter solstice. And for 12 days, they wreak havoc. But they also give the kids gifts
On their stockings.
every day in their stocking. They leave a little gift.
And we taught our kids the origins of the stockings, right?
Yes.
So the whole before, when people were poor and there was nothing going on, people would leave their shoes by the fireplace, obviously, to get dried out or everything. So Papa Jewel would come in. I'm part of the story, the fireplace. That was very familiar, right? And then he will leave them gifts on their boots, or the gnomes would also leave the gifts on the on their boots on their shoes.
In their shoes, yeah.
And mostly they were boots, obviously, because it was snow season, it's winter, everybody wore boots. So if they were bad, obviously they got coal in them. But if they were good, they would get like a sock or a pair of socks or something that they needed. But it was something small that they were appreciated. It wasn't like nowadays where kids are just getting all this exaggerated stuff. So that's the stocking. That's where the stocking stuffers come. That's why you usually hang your stocking by the fireplace.
Because you're supposed to be drying it out.
Yeah, so that the gnomes give you your gifts, or Papa Jewel gives you also your gifts for during Yule. So yeah, that's we explain that to our kids. So obviously, our little gnomes wreak havoc on our house, and they usually leave the kids a treat. And I think that if it's wintertime and it's cold, I think coal would be actually a great gift.
Well, that you heard in the Santa Clauses we were watching.
But it's a
today.
great point, yeah.
Yeah, that coal was a better gift back in the day because you could burn the coal to keep your house warm versus a treat.
Yeah. So I mean, it was an excellent point. I mean, I can't argue with that one.
Another point I wanted to make with that is that the other belief is that, we are saying that Santa is Odin, but the other idea is that he's actually a gnome.
Well, yeah.
So he is the biggest and most magical of all the gnomes and the king of the gnomes.
It was the Befana that said that the coal thing.
The coal thing. Oh,
Yeah,
Befana. Okay, so that's another character in another culture. In Italy, you've got Befana.
Right. Befana, which is a witch. Pretty much that's where the broom comes from. That's where...
There's also a Scandinavian witch.
Right.
Who eats children who are bad. She's like a Baba Yaga type of character.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the main things. So, yeah. So, guys, Yule for us is pretty much kind of like the same thing. We start on the 21st or 20th. Usually it's set on the 21st so far. 21st to, 12 days. So, beginning of the year. We have the Yule log. We have by Yule log, I mean the piece of wood that we burn. Or we have the glug. We have the gnomes. And for, like we said, we have family members that, are not, and friends that don't believe in what we do. So we end up kind of just hanging out with them for Christmas Day, usually, usually it's my wife's family.
We still celebrate the traditional,
which is another day of feasting for us.
Christmas Day.
It's another day. The kids get to open the gifts from their loved ones, so it's still celebrating Yule. There might be maybe the bigger gifts from us, maybe a gift from us, and then they still have a few more days of getting little gifts.
Yeah, they'll still get gifts from their gnomes, from our gnomes, our tomes. They'll still get gifts until the first of the year.
Yeah.
In their stockings. And I did want to make a note that our daughter, our 7-year-old, I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode, but our 7-year-old sent her letter out to Santa. And on it, she asked for nothing.
Yes.
And she asked for nothing because she acknowledged that she'd been bad. So we don't know if her acknowledgement of this was to try to get out of any type of punishment from Krampus. And all she asked for was to just spend time with her family.
Yeah, and I think Papa Joe's going to take care of her really good for that.
Yeah. for being such a good girl, and that
Yeah.
she made up for all the bad stuff with just that letter.
Yeah.
How many kids do that? How many kids ask for nothing
No.
because they acknowledge that they've been bad?
I saw, right now that you say that, I saw a funny picture of like us, and it says like, 1985 or whatever, and it's got like a kid all excited about opening a Nintendo,
Okay.
and then it shows like kids now, and it's like they're throwing a fit because they got like a PlayStation 5, and then they have to share it with their siblings. I was like, oh man, yeah, we come a long way.
Well, I mean, that's, I think, the idea behind a lot of the movies that we see, like the Christmas time movies. It's all about how
Being brats.
ungrateful, how ungrateful and bratty kids are about getting gifts, and where the whole purpose of the season is to be grateful. But ultimately, the purpose of the season, even way back in the day, was to look forward to the light, to look forward to the return of brighter days and sunnier days and warmer days. And you did that in the company of your tribe. You did that by being grateful that you had a good hunt and you had boar to eat, right? You had mead to drink.
Oh yeah, that's a big one for us. For me, I always have to have meat.
Yeah. Luckily, we have a
Clog of meat.
meadery nearby.
Yeah. And it's funny, we were talking about Yule, but you know that in Idaho they always have a Yule festival, right? Like where people get together and they have like a dinner.
We haven't gone.
No, we haven't gone. Well, because it's hard to get babysitters because no children are allowed.
I didn't know.
And then it's a little it's a little pricey, but it covers the dinner, so I imagine it's a good feast. It was supposed to be this weekend, I believe, this past weekend.
So we missed
up
it.
in Ottawa, but I have previously heard that it was canceled because of the fires.
Oh, I don't know.
So, but then other things that I saw said it was still on, so I was undecided and follow up on it.
Okay.
But I think the last thing I saw was like it's starting to get a little bit bigger. Now it's like a whole day celebration thing where they have vendors and everything.
I've never. It's the first I hear of it. So, but it's something.
Oh,
that
I
we
told
can,
you about it.
I don't recall,
Yeah.
but we can look into it for next year. So this is what we do. This is the little quick history of Yule and the little celebration that we do in conjunction with celebrating Christmas. At one point in my life, there used to be a nativity scene, but that's because of my grandmother's Catholic upbringing and her influence on our household. And I think even in my Mormon house, we even had a nativity scene at some point because that was my dad's tradition, from handed down from his mother. We even had a little nativity in our house for a while. And
Yeah, I didn't grow up like that. We didn't have a nativity scene in my dad's house. Oh, I don't know if my mom did. I can't recall. Mm-hmm. I do remember the Christmases with my mom were special because we were like so damn poor, so it was nice to hang around together or whatever. And my memories are mainly based on looking at pictures and how lucky, like how happy I looked and how happy she looked. Mm-hmm. And usually it was like her and my sister, and Pop, Chief, and my nephew, who was a newborn. But I really don't have any memories. I do remember the one year I got a fire truck for some reason. I remember that well in my General Lee car. And that was like my second one.
your second generally.
Yeah, because I got one for my birthday, which was that metal one that I loved. But the second one I got was like a little plastic one thing. Like it was from like a thrift store. It was like a used one already. But I was still happy, right? But that's all I remember. And then when I went to live with my dad, all I remember is big parties, a lot of people getting loud and dancing and drunk and fighting, and kids running around and fireworks. And then when I went to live with my dad's girlfriend, my other mom, my third mom, I guess you would call it, my second stepmom, that one was a little bit more different. Yeah, she did the whole,
nativity.
No, yeah, that and freaking dragging my ass to church at midnight. Like, I remember we literally got in a fight one year about it. I was like, I'm not going. And she forced me to go. She beat me to go. And I was like, man. And then I snuck out somewhere halfway, and I was like, she's gonna beat my ass anyhow, so I'll just take the beating later. I just wanted to see gifts and have fun and eat the damn cabeza. She always made a head, and then tamales or tamales were on point. They were like so good. So yeah, it was nothing like really special for me. I never care for Christmas.
I know, and I think that all plays into why you said in the last episode that you're a hypocrite,
right?
Because you've learned now that you.
Well, funny joke on that one. If you're still around listening to us after all that, I hope we didn't lose you along the way. But so yeah, I was saying that. So I was blaming my son. I was blaming our second son about him getting me all into this Christmas spirit, and the little ones, they love it. So I was like, forget them, I do it. I started getting into it, and I want to see them happy and enjoy it because it means so much to them, the magic, And we were watching that whole Santa Claus's TV show. And he was like, "Can we stop?" He was like, "No. Like, let's keep on going. I'm enjoying this show. Like, I want to finish it."
You were enjoying it, yeah.
And he's like, "I'm over it." I was like, "No, you did this." He's like, "Dad, I thought you were the Grinch." I was like, "No, you did this to me. You created this monster, and now deal with it." He's like, "I'd rather do Halloween now." I was like, "Well, we can still do that for Halloween too, but we're doing this right now." I'm really enjoying
I kept telling him, if you don't like it, you can go take a shower.
Yeah.
Go take a shower.
Yeah. But then our daughter.
Go clean your room.
Our daughter, our 7-year-old, she's such a sweetheart. She's all into George Michael right now. She got into, we watched a Wham video during the weekend of last Christmas, and she hasn't stopped singing it, and she wants to learn it. And so I played it. She was on asking for it, so I played it for her. And now she's like, "Oh, can I hear more of his music?" But that's her favorite song right now. Last Christmas, I Give You My Heart. It's funny to see her. She's always her character dancing
around.
I love it. It's so cute.
Yeah. Well, we hope that this was a little informative for you to learn about.
Yeah, if you
Yule.
just yeah.
And thank you for listening to us.
Yeah, as always, I hope you guys have a great holiday break because school's coming to an end. So, yo, parents, yeah, moms, you made it another year. Wow, we made it another year. Went by fast.
Yep. We may miss recording because Christmas and Christmas Eve is over the weekend.
I might be drunk, but we're recording.
I don't believe you, but just heads up, we might miss a week. So
no, that's not an option. No,
we'll see.
No, it's a gift for them. No, guys. Well, yeah. May you have safe drives if we don't get to record. May you have a
Merry Christmas, blessed holiday season, God Yule, and
Happy Hanukkah,
Happy Merry Kwanzaa, whatever every single winter holiday celebration.
Winter solstice.
May you be safe, and happy with your families.
And
and even if you're by yourself,
and if you don't celebrate it, hey man, enjoy the time off, and
that's true.
Just chill. And this winter for us has not been as cold as usual, so we're kind of thrown off by it.
It's coming.
So we'll see.
It's supposed to rain this week, so
maybe I'll bring the snow over here.
Burn.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you once again. You have a great night.
All right, guys. Bye.